Hey, now it is I, Rocket Man. What are you waiting for? Come on in.
Broadcasting live from the only establishment in town that can't kick him out. His own basement. The world according to Rocket.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. If you like this channel at all, I'd appreciate it if you smack that like button like it spilled coffee on your brand new shirt this morning before work. That's what I'd like. Just smack it. We had a very spirited live show last night. Went on about an hour or so. And I tell you, people are quick to get their panties in a wad. I'm telling you they are. I showed this picture as I needed a thumbnail for the live. I've run out of time. And I had run across this picture for, I don't know, yesterday morning, I guess. And it made me laugh for a couple of reasons. Number one, yes, I do think it's time for Nico to get a shot just to see where he's at. And I think this is the weekend to do it because it's a lesser opponent rather than a conference opponent, Texas A&M, South Carolina, one of those guys. So I said, yeah, I'll talk about that tonight because I was still really pissed off about this Florida game this past weekend. So I saw this, and if you look at it, those of you who are near my age or who grew up with drive-in movies, this is a drive-in movie theater with the grass grown over, and the light, not the light, but the speaker poles still in place and the screen up there. And somebody had put digitally, I'm assuming, it's Nico time in Tennessee. And that gave me a chuckle for a couple of reasons, because I think it is. And number two, it just reminded me of some very cute girls in high school. Anyway, so I used that one for a number of reasons. All right. And, some people just got, what are you talking about? He's going to get in there, and what if he doesn't do any good? And his psyche will be ruined. What? Are you effing kidding me? His psyche will be ruined if he doesn't do well? Why is he even playing then if his psyche is at risk? That's the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard. I ain't even lying. So today, if you haven't heard it live, go listen to it. I would appreciate your comments, right? That's a nice thing about talking football, because everybody has an opinion. Everybody's opinion is valid, and it's fun to argue about it. It's just fun. That's all. That's what the channel is about. So what I do today, what I thought I'd do today is have a look at all these comments about the show last night. We have Tennessee. We have Tennessee and UTSA coming up this weekend, and non-conference game. We should beat them by 1 million, but we won't because I don't have confidence that they're going to make some changes that's going to facilitate that 1 million points. And let me just say off the bat about Tennessee and Tennessee's offense and defense. People say, it's not the quarterback. It is the quarterback. It all goes through the quarterback, this offense does. But let me just say, it's the defense. It's the defense. Well, see, our defense is not that great. All right? And the reason we did so well last year and the year before that, really, is because we know our defense is not so great. But if we can kind of keep the opponent down to about 30 points, we're not asking a lot. Just keep them down to about 30 points, because typically over the past 2 years, we have scored 40 points plus a game. Guess what we're not doing this year? We are not scoring that this year. And in fact, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. 2 words, trajectory. We need to learn what that is. Another 2 words, trending. You know, the trajectory about our offense production is going down. We are trending down. And what I'm saying about let's put another quarterback in there to see if there's a spark and see if there's somebody else that can maybe drive this Lambo with more efficiency with regard to scoring and see how that works out. And so that was kind of my thesis last night. So let's go grab some of these comments here. And here is the first one. Robert Lipscomb. I love you, brother, but I disagree. According to PFF, the highest graded player was Milton. I'm not familiar with PFF. I'm not as familiar with that as I am with the QBR rating and the QBR raw and the QBR adjusted. I know about those. So I asked him to provide some more context. Richie Bailey jumped in and said he wasted a timeout before the first snap coming from halftime. He's lost, completely lost. He freaks out under pressure and he runs out of bounds. Oh my God, I completely forgot about that until Richie reminded me. Remember that running out of bounds at the end of the game 2 years ago against Ole Miss when we had a chance to win that game? Oh, and he did that again at Florida. Come on, man. He has no football IQ. I wouldn't go that far. I think he has football IQ, but it's just not his strong suit. And I don't care what PFF graded him. So this is where the whole psyche thing came in. According to PFF, he was the highest graded Tennessee player in the swamp. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter if he was the best guy on a losing team. We lost. His grade was the equivalent of a B-. I agree with every criticism, Milton, but look at the shit show that surrounded him completely. No argument there. Do you really want to stick a freshman quarterback in the shit show we have now? Do you really think that solves our problems? Do you really want to risk destroying his psyche? Look, if his psyche is at risk of being destroyed, he should not be playing college football. Period. The end. And that's what I have to say about that. And I appreciate you, Robert. We've had some very good conversations, and I still love you. We just disagree on this. That's all. Lana laughs real loud. Now, sometimes I don't know whether Lana is a dude or a dudette. Let me know, will you? And the reason I say that, because sometimes when I get notified, it says Johnny on the spot. But then I go to the comment and it's Lana laughs real loud. So I'm so confused. I'm as confused as Joe Milton is. Nash, I believe Vols may have a disciplinarian issue with Coach Hype in relation to the players. That's my observation. Wilson, I don't care about who's ranked anywhere in any position. I have no personal feelings about our quarterback or other position. I have personal feelings about losing. Spurrier would have already made a quarterback change and probably a few others. 100% correct. So would Saban. He didn't seem to mind what quarter, what half, what down, and he won games all along while he was doing it. If something doesn't change, it's going to be a long year. You're right. Gaston looked like the best guy in the spring. He did. He threw some great passes and he ran that offense pretty well. Try Nico. Try somebody. Try Gaston. Hey, look, I don't care if you try the Easter frickin' Bunny. Sit Joe down for a minute and let him reflect on his situation. That will only improve him. And if it wrecks his psyche, then he shouldn't be playing football in the first place. It's not going to wreck his psyche. It's not going to wreck Nico's psyche if he comes in and makes some mistakes either. I mean, I've never bought into that. It's just a bunch of crap. Bloxfield, Tennessee. God, please. Saying it's Nico time in Tennessee. I think he's a Nico fan. Richie Bailey, I agree. I said it at Austin P. These Tennessee coaches aren't nearly hard enough on the players. They do everything short of giving them a shoulder massage when they mess up. You're right. No accident, no accountability, it seems. I'm shocked. Yeah, I share the feeling. Tony Hedrick, thank you for your comment. The saddest thing to me is that Milton has been given enough rope to cost us an SEC East game already against a huge rival that is coached by a guy that repeatedly makes poor coaching decisions. Man, that is spot on. Of course, referring to Sunbelt Billy. You can tell the play calling has been called in fear of Joe. After 6 years in school, if the whole playbook isn't available for whatever reason, he needs to sit down. Yeah. I look at last year's offense and I look at this year's offense. Last year's moves faster. We scored a lot more points every game. And why is that? I say it's the wrong quarterback in there. And people say, you're just being mean. You're ripping on Joe. No, I'm not. I like Joe a lot. I wish he was playing better, but he's not playing better. He's not running this offense properly in the way that it needs to be run. Okay? It just doesn't. So, well, it's the play calling. It's so conservative. The play calling is so conservative. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's conservative because they don't want to score points? Or do you think it's conservative because, well, I don't think they don't trust Joe with that particular play or whatever. But it's vastly different from last year, right? Snornado, which is probably one of the greatest names ever. And I appreciate you, Snornado. He goes on to say, hey, it's just one loss. It's one game. No, it is a conference game. More importantly, it's a divisional game that we lost to. We lost to Florida. Now, here's why that is important, because Georgia is not what they have been this year. I believe firmly that Georgia's not going to three-peat. They're not going to win it again. They're not as good as they were. You know why? Because they don't have a quarterback that can run that badass offense like they did last year. This quarterback is running at about a 60, 65 QBR. I mean, he's not bad. He's just not as efficient as Stetson Bennett LaFave was last year. Okay, they're not as good. They're not as good a football team as they were. Which means we have a chance to beat them, which means we could win the East, which means we would have an opportunity to play for the SEC championship. Come on, people. Come on. Wake up. And then Snornado, whom I adore. I think Snornado is also Cosmo, I think. I listen to Sports Animal Daily. I listen to VolQuest and everything I've heard from them. And they're at the practices. Well, they're not at all the practice. They're at the practice that's open to the public and the press. So they don't see what's going on behind the scenes. Even quarterback Eric Ainge, whom I admire, they say Nico isn't ready. Maybe he isn't ready. Okay. But we still don't know yet. Right? And Snornado, it's hard to say that name and be in a serious conversation. Snornado says he threw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 287 yards versus Florida. That's not a bad day. You're right. It's not a bad day. It's a horrible day because he lost doing it. See, you're trying to put a pretty face on this. There's no pretty face to put on this. And I love these guys. I love Brent and Austin and those guys and Eric Ainge. But see, you got to remember, they're company men. They're company men. They don't ask hard questions. They don't ask hard questions that might embarrass Coach Heupel. They just don't do it. Why? Because they'll lose their press access if they do. So they have a very thin ice kind of thing. The journalistic instinct in them wants to do the right thing, but they can't really be a badass question asker because that will piss them off. They're company men. I don't care how many practices they attend. I want to see what the man can do. And as a fan, I have a right for that. I'm not going to apologize for that. Right? Not going to do it. All right. And Snornado, bless his heart, he wrote a book last night after that, and I appreciate it. He also says Tennessee's still averaging 31 points a game, 31.6 a game. Dude, let me help you with your math, all right? The only reason they're averaging 31 points a game right now is because they scored 49 the first game. The last two games, they went down to 30 against a Division II team, an FCS team, and then last week they hit a 16. So not good. You're making it again. You're putting lipstick on a pig there. Their trajectory is going down offensively. They're trending down offensively. No matter who goes to the practices, no matter what they say in the press conferences, the offense is not performing, not even close to a level that it performed last year. I happen to think it is a vibe and a chemistry and a connection with the quarterback and the rest of the team and the coaches. That's just my thinking. I could be wrong. Snornado. Again, he wrote a book last night. I wonder if Heupel was chewing Bazooka Joe gum in the press conference. He probably was. Shouldn't have been, though. It's a bad look. John B. Great work once again. I agree. Anyone else at quarterback? Glad you're feeling better. I felt bad for my straitjacket joke. John B. Don't, man. I'm a big boy. I can take the jokes. I thought it's kind of funny. What he's referring to is on the, oh man. What he was referring to was on the game. I did a live on the game Saturday night, and I've been sick. I have a cold, summer cold, and in the end of summer. And I had this comforter on me, and I was sitting here watching the game and commenting, and I didn't realize I was doing this thing here, you know. And John B. walks in and said, "Who's the dude in the straitjacket?" Funny as hell. I wasn't feeling very good that night. No reason to apologize, John B. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Vol Steak. Why in the F was Milton smiling after the loss? That's an excellent question. That's what I was talking about last night on the live. In his press conference, you know, he was kind of smiling. Yeah, it's all good. Man, nothing wrong. We just need to play better together. Really? And he's flashing that gorgeous smile of his. Wish I had it. But I'm with you, Volsteak. I didn't get it either. Bolin family. I'm willing to give Joe a try for the next 2 games. If it doesn't work, you've got Nico 2 weeks to get ready for the home game with Texas A&M. That's pretty smart. I see you working there. I see what you're saying. Because that there'll be a bye week there, right? And then he'll have 2 weeks to get him ready. If he chooses to do that, I don't think he'll choose to do that. I think we're in a mess here. I really do. The place to test Nico to see if he's ready was at Austin Peay, right? With less talented players, a Div 2 team. Now, there was some talk that he had a hurt wrist and he couldn't get in there. Okay, I'll accept that. Not a problem. But again, I would think, now I like your idea, Bolin family. It seems reasonable, smart anyway, sure. But it seems to me that should be installed this week, right? Because I guarantee you Texas A&M is a tougher team than Texas San Antonio. And their quarterback, Connor Wegman, I mean, he's like throwing a 92 or 3 QBR, just at QBR. He's killing it, right? He's going to slice this defense into a million pieces if we don't sack him a lot or move him off his spot. He's killing it. So that would be a whole lot of pressure for Nico to come in and try to beat Texas A&M. I'm just saying, sit Joe down. And he's not going to do that. He's not going to, because I think Coach Heupel, I'm starting to dig into this and understand it a little better. He doesn't want to embarrass Joe by sitting him down. That's where I disagree with Coach Heupel. He says, well, it may be, he may be the best option to win. No, that's what Jeremy Pruitt said. Okay. That's what he kept saying, playing Garantano. Jared Garantano was never the best option to win, ever. Okay? But yet still played him because coaching wisdom. He's the best chance we have. No. Now, it may be that Joe is the best option for us to win. And I just haven't seen that or come to that recognition yet because I haven't seen the other guys playing. And Joe has made enough mistakes and has seemed a little confused enough to where other people need to be tested to see what they can do. That's all I'm saying. I appreciate the comment, Bolin. Rando, great show. Yours, I mean, not the farce that happened on Saturday. Ooh, it's kind of cold. There's some tough love there from Rando. I have thought long and hard about the game. The biggest problem is not who's on the field. It's with the coaches. They need to start coaching instead of nursing players who should be and could be better with the proper guidance. Whoa. Rando, coming down with the coaches. Ebo, I couldn't agree more, brother. The fans deserve a better production than this. What a letdown it has been so far. Yeah. Glenn, 7721. Nico is not the answer. I'm not so sure he will be the answer next year. If Joe can't get this thing turned around, neither can Nico. Your opinion, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you commenting, but I just disagree with that. I do. I disagree with that. If Nico doesn't have any future potential of being the answer, why is he here? Why have people paid him so much money? And, that's why I disagree with you. There's something special there about him. I have seen it with my own 2 eyeballs. Eric B. Jones and Associates. What up, Rocket? I agree. I think Heupel ought to sit Joe and put Nico in there because Joe has made mistakes after mistakes and the first 3 games, and there's nothing being done about the mistakes. I mean, we certainly don't see a result of anything being done about the mistakes on the field. Coach Heupel, I'm saying if Coach Heupel doesn't let Nico start against San Antonio and see what he can do. Tennessee ain't winning but 6 or 7 games this season with Joe as a quarterback. I agree. I think we're looking at a 7-5 or 6-6. If Gaston Moore can get in there, if Nico can get in there, somebody should be able to get in there and move this offense, right? And I know the answer to that is, well, if Coach Heupel thinks this is the right situation, it is. Maybe, right? Maybe. What are you going to, here's my thinking. Are you going to wait until Joe gets hurt and then put Nico in? Nico is the backup quarterback here. Are you going to put him in in an emergency situation, or are you going to craft and take control of that situation and introduce him into that starting lineup with the ones in a way that you can have more control over it in a game that's less important in terms of not being a conference game? Because, see, we still got a chance here. We still got a chance. But we've already lost one game in the East. Now, and I think we lost a game in the East to an inferior team. Florida's not as good as they played. I think that was a one-off. Did you see them get beat by Utah's second string? They got their ass handed to them. It was much worse than the score was. Right? But to their credit, they did do some things that our team couldn't respond to. So, one more thing from Eric B. Jones. Did you hear Omar Norman Lott is on the bench for the first half against Texas San Antonio? Yeah, I did. I saw that. It was because of the fight at the end of the game. Yeah, that's a problem. That shouldn't have happened. That's unfortunate that it did. But 4 players were suspended, 3 Florida and 1 Tennessee player was suspended. So look, if you haven't heard the live, go to the live, listen to that bad boy. And be sure you smack that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Appreciate that too. That's how we eventually make money, is more subscribers, produces more listenership into commercials. And we get paid on commercials, and we get paid on your generosity with super thanks and super chats. And I appreciate all of those. Thank you very much. And particularly last night, we had Knoxville Predator Catcher. Thank you for your super chat last night, sir. I appreciate it. So I want to know what you think. Right? It doesn't have to be contentious, and we don't have to say, you're a frickin' idiot. And I won't say that about you, and I hope you don't say that about me, although somebody called me a soft Vol fan wanting to change my mind. I'm not that. I have facts and figures to back up my opinion, and I just ask that you have the same. You do the same, right? But I want to hear what you have to say. To me, this seems the week. This seems to be the week that we could have a look at Nico and see what he can do with the least amount of consequence. All right. And if nothing else, Joe needs to be sat down for a game. Now, okay, here's the thing. Okay, let's say we don't want to hurt Joe's feelings, which I think is stupid. So we let Joe start the game. And then we make a plan for Nico to come in the second or third quarter. What about that? What about that? And then maybe let Gaston go the third quarter if it doesn't go well, right? Something like that needs to happen just to see where we are, to see if there is a spark there that can be made, right? I think there is. I just have an instinct about that kid. I do. Anyway, I want to know what your instincts are. I remember that old joke. What do your instincts tell you? Well, my instincts, but it don't tell me nothing. I remember that. I heard that when I was in junior high, and I've been laughing at that ever since. Thank you for being here. Look forward to hearing your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, it's I, Rocket Man. We have a new sponsor on the channel, DestinedFamilyPortraits.com. Hang on, are you packing your bags for your Florida vacation to the Emerald Coast? Hold up. Don't forget the sunscreen, the flip-flops, and wait, don't forget the most important thing. No, not your inflatable unicorn. It's a family portrait on the beach by DestinedFamilyPortraits.com. That's me. That's where I've been all summer, figuring out how to pay for this channel. Got the business up and running. I want to share it with you. Just look at these epic sunset smiles. Imagine your family, yes, your family, captured in a stunning portrait that screams fun, sun, and unforgettable memories for a lifetime. What are you waiting for? Dive into your ultimate vacation checklist by visiting www.destinedfamilyportraits.com and let Nash Rocket, whoever that guy is, turn your beach fun into a lifetime of memories. Because vacation photos on the beach should be as wow as the vacation itself.